Hey guys, Wild Rally back here at it again. I'm going to tell you about a little shrimp cutter. One of my best friends and I, another friend, we were out kind of foraging for porchitis last year. And we found a bunch of big Amanita muscaria mushrooms too, very beautiful. Didn't really pick those. But while we're out foraging for mushrooms, he found a knife very similar to this. Which gave me the idea to make my own. So here I am. I'm going to tell you about how to make one. I'm calling this the Shrump cutter. I don't know what the other guy's calling it, or gal, whoever made it, but they're a bushcrafter. They're a survivalist. They understand the outdoors very well. And they're the one, whoever you are, you're the one who inspired me to make my own. So if you're kind of Davenport kind of area, north of Santa Cruz, and you lost a knife like this, we found it, and then my buddy found it, and then he lost it the same day, so it's still out there. You might be able to go back out there and re-find your knife. You just gotta go look for porcinis, right? And have a good eye. But anyway, the way that we make these things is kind of take an old cheap blade, like a $10 blade. This one's been, I think my wife found this or something. I split it open. I took the blade out off the handle. So then I took this Indian soap plant. You can find this Indian soap plant all along the coast, west coast. It's kind of like a bulb like this, and this is the kind of husk that goes around this bulb. So I pulled the middle out of it and kept the real fibrous hairs. And I could show you a little bit of it. I have some of this soap plant growing here, because if I find some that's been rooted out of the ground, you can kind of take the root ball and regrow it. And it's kind of a cool looking plant. Kind of looks like a yucca plant without the thorns. And it's also used for soap. You can lather it up, and it's fibrous, so it's good for bathing and out in the woods. You can even kind of cook the bulb really, really well. Change out the water a couple times and eat the bulb. It's not the best though. So once you have the fibrous husk and the blade, then you use some kind of twine or bank line or some kind of fibrous material to kind of bind everything together. So I wound this husk to the blade really, really tight and tied it off with a noose. So I left kind of a loop and then put the tag in through the loop and pulled it through. And once I had that, so underneath this resin is a wind of bank line that's wrapped around really tight. And this resin goes from the blade in touch with the fibers, and then over the top of the bank line, and then it goes back in touch with the fibers. So hopefully that'll be enough to kind of hold it together. It's not a very big knife. It's meant for more delicate trimming mushrooms. And the way you make this pine pitch, there's lots of videos out here on YouTube, but you take nice clean pine pitch, or you render dirty pine pitch down. I happen to find some good clean stuff. And then I folded the edges of the foil into a kind of a smaller square, and then kind of made a dish. And then added a bunch of these pieces of pine pitch to it. Kind of melted that down. And then I added deer scat, a little bit, maybe about 10-15% deer scat. And then it's about 50% pitch resin. And then the rest is ground up charcoal. So I ground those things up in the mortar and pestle, where I grind my salt, my herbs, a little bit of bone fragment too. I ground up some bone fragment. So I took a bone and threw it in the campfire in the coals and kind of let it burn down, and then ground that up. So then we got like some carbon fiber to it, right? And then once that's nice and molten, you get a little stick. In this case, it's a shish kebab skewer, and I'd scoop it up and then apply it. And I kept adding and adding on top. And once I got a pretty good glomulin of pitch on here, then I started kind of pressing on it, kind of working it around. And then I just kind of warmed it up on the fire, preserving that. So I'd warm it up using my thumb or my hand as like a barrier, but exposing it to a little lick of flame here and there, and it would start to melt down. You can see some of those fibers are kind of poking through. And then it becomes like a little small handle, so you can use it with your finger and thumb. So anyway, something you can make, a shrimp cutter out of an old cheap piece of metal, some Indian soap plant, which works really good for many things. Fire starting, it picks up a spark really well. Using it as a brush to kind of brush your mushrooms clean. A blade you don't really care about too much. You can use it to cut sandy mushroom material away from a mushroom, or kind of work it down into the pine needles and kind of cut away. And so we're out here looking for morels. We're looking for chicken of the woods. We're looking for, all kinds of good stuff. Oysters. We're looking for chanterelles. We're looking for porcinis. There's a lot of good stuff around here. And so that's a good little kit. And the other cool thing about it too, it fits right in the forager's bag. So the forager's bag has a couple pockets. You can see I have some pine tar or pine pitch in here to make more tar. Got a little corncob pipe in the other pocket. And so that kind of just hangs on the stick. It slips around your neck and kind of hangs like a purse almost. You can use it. I've used it to plant potatoes a lot. You can plant things and you can forage things with it. It's from Frost River. Here's our little patch. Is it Frost River? Oh no, Duluth. Yeah, Frost River. So anyway, good little forager's bag. Packs up small, and I bring it pretty much everywhere. And when I have elderberries to pick, or potatoes to plant, or mushrooms to pick, or sap to find, it's kind of the throw bag. The other cool thing about a bag like this, you can put a water bottle, a fire starting kit, an extra jacket, a sweater, something like that. Some basic things, and go out in the woods, wildcrafting, and have a pretty good size kind of bucket pack to put stuff in. So a lot of bushcrafters like using a haversack. It's kind of my version of a haversack, kind of open-ended bucket, kind of forager's bag. You can use that too. So anyway, other projects we're working on here. Kind of a nap steel knife, making a Scottish dirk for another friend. And this little shrimp cutter though, I think I'm going to gift it to one of my buddies. Hasn't gone out with me yet. Trying to kind of extend the olive branch. See if I can get him to come out or go out with him and do some wild crafting. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you can make your own shrimp cutter. Go find your own wild mushrooms. Learn what you're doing. Don't eat them unless you know what they are, obviously. But I guess when you're getting to the point where you're making a shrimp cutter, you know what you're looking for. So that being said, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good night.